Welcome back to The Explainer. So today we're tackling a system that, let's be honest, can sometimes feel like a total maze. But figuring it out is absolutely crucial for your financial security. We're talking about navigating Washington State's weekly unemployment certification process.
Unlock the unemployment benefits you deserve in Washington and don't miss a dime. Look, if you've recently lost your job or had your hours slashed, the bills certainly don't stop just because the paychecks did, right? By the end of this explainer, we're going to have the exact knowledge you need to confidently navigate the system, dodge those really costly bureaucratic traps, and make absolutely sure you're getting every cent you're entitled to.
All right, here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll cover Washington unemployment basics, the step-by-step weekly certification, how to maximize your weekly benefits, troubleshooting and key resources, and then wrap up with some final tips. Okay, Section 1, Washington unemployment basics.
So before you can even think about claiming those weekly funds, you have to hit a magic number, and that number is 680. To qualify for benefits in Washington State, you need to have worked at least 680 hours during your base year, which is basically the 12-month period right before you apply. And hey, it doesn't matter if that was full-time or pieced together from a bunch of part-time gigs. Hitting 680 combined hours gets you past that first major hurdle.
Building on that, you also need to have actually earned those wages in Washington within the last 18 months. And this is a bit one. You must have lost your job through absolutely no fault of your own. So we're talking about a layoff or having a legally valid good cause to quit. If you check those boxes, you're looking at being able to collect regular benefits for up to 26 weeks during a 52-week benefit year. Now, we need to talk about a term that honestly catches so many people completely off guard: the waiting week. Your waiting week is the very first eligible week you claim, and listen closely here, it is unpaid. No money for that first week. It happens exactly once per benefit year. I really want to highlight this because it's a huge bummer when your first perfect weekly certification doesn't instantly result in a deposit, but it's just standard state law, so factor it into your budgeting.
Moving right along to Section 2, Step-by-Step Weekly Certification.
All right, so your absolute gateway to everything unemployment-related in Washington is an account called Secure Access Washington. You'll hear it called SAW. If you've paid state taxes or used WorkSource recently, you probably already have one of these. So you log into SAW, and that securely funnels you right into the Employment Security Department's e-services portal. Once you're in e-services, just look for an alert sitting right there on your home screen. It'll say you have a weekly claim to file. And boom, that is your golden ticket.
Now, a question that pops up all the time is, when exactly do I actually file this thing? Well, the unemployment week in Washington runs from Sunday to Saturday, and you are always filing for the week that just wrapped up. So the absolute earliest you can log in and click submit is 12:01 a.m. on Sunday morning for the previous Sunday through Saturday chunk of time. Getting it done early in the week is definitely the smartest move for timely payments.
But here's the catch. You don't just hit submit and wait for the cash to roll in. Eligibility isn't a one-and-done deal. They reevaluate you every single week. You have to swear that you are physically able to work each day, that you are available to take a job immediately, and that you completed 3 approved job search activities. Oh, and you have to keep a super detailed log of those job searches. Seriously, don't slack on that log. If the state audits you and it's missing, you could literally be forced to pay all those benefits back. All right, on to Section 3, maximizing your weekly benefits. Let's get into some insider tips. If you want to make absolutely sure you aren't leaving money on the table, you need to know how the state looks at income, because they treat different types of work completely differently. If you pick up some hours at a standard W-2 job, you've got to report your gross earnings, that's before taxes, for the exact week you did the work. Doesn't matter when the paycheck actually hits your bank account. But if you have a side hustle, maybe a freelance gig, or you're self-employed, you report your net earnings. In fact, let's read right from the Washington Administrative Code on this, WAC 192, 190, 105. It states, report self-employment income as a net figure after your reasonable business expenses are deducted from your gross income. This is huge, you guys. It legally empowers you to deduct those reasonable business expenses, like, say, specialized supplies or travel costs for that specific gig, before you tell the state what you made. Doing this properly can massively preserve your weekly payout. And while we're talking about preserving your benefits, please don't be afraid to take a few shifts if they pop up. Washington uses what's called a sliding scale deduction. This means if you report a little bit of income, they don't just completely yank your unemployment check for the week. No way. Instead, they run it through a formula to just fractionally reduce your benefits. The whole system is actually designed to encourage you to take part-time work without constantly living in fear of losing all your support at once. Okay, Section 4, Troubleshooting and Key Resources. Look, even if you are super prepared, things happen. But here is a tip that should instantly lower your blood pressure. If you're clicking through your weekly claim and you suddenly realize, oh no, I checked the wrong box, do not panic. You can totally correct mistakes anytime before you hit that final screen that says your claim has been accepted. If you catch an error, just hit the Start Over button and fix the whole shebang before it actually goes through. Something else that definitely causes people to panic is logging in and seeing that your claim has an issue. Deep breaths here. An issue does not mean you are automatically denied. Not at all. It's really just bureaucratic speak, meaning the Employment Security Department has to do a little bit of adjudication. Basically, they just need some more info from you, or maybe your old boss, before they release the cash. The absolute most important thing, keep filing your weekly claims while they sort that issue out. And when you do get stuck, please don't waste hours on hold with the wrong people. If you're locked out of SAW or the e-services portal is crashing on you, dial the help desk directly at 855-682-0785. Now, if you have questions specifically about your money or that issue status we just talked about, call the Claim Center at 800-318-6022. And if you happen to be dealing with the Federal Disaster Unemployment Assistance Program, you'll want to call the DUA line at 855-952-998. All right, bringing us home with Section 5, Final Tips and Conclusion. Let's rapid fire some absolute best practices for you. First off, get signed up for direct deposit. It's just way faster and infinitely safer than messing around with debit cards or waiting on the mail. Number 2, claim every single week consecutively. Missing weeks can lock you out and force a restart, and you really don't want those delays. Third, pro tip here, if you're filing on your phone, force your browser into desktop view. It seriously cuts down on weird formatting glitches. And lastly, always tell the truth. Honest mistakes can almost always be fixed, but the penalties for actual fraud are no joke. So, I want to leave you with this question. Are you ready to take control of your weekly claims? You've got the rules down, you know the timelines, you know the secret to maximizing that self-employment reporting, and you've got the direct phone numbers to skip the whole runaround. Yeah, it's a complicated system, but it is totally manageable when you have the right playbook. Now, please remember that this video provides general information and is not legal advice. For questions specific to your personal situation, consult a qualified professional or contact the Washington State Employment Security Department directly. Keep your chin up out there, stay super organized with those job search logs, and best of luck with your reemployment journey. You've totally got this.